up in the morning, I got money on my mind. So addicted to it, all I see is dollar signs. Thankful to the Lord, he let me make it through the night. So dead or alive, I'ma go and get what's mine. Everyone that pulled me back, I had to leave behind. I can't hang with niggas, I got too much on the line. Sitting at the top and I ain't even.
Hey, what's up guys, it's your boy Steezy once again, and welcome to my first episode of Focus Fridays. Let me just do a quick run through the whole intention and, well, basically focus of Focus Fridays. This is a newly introduced show / blog, which is gonna feature as a blog on our official website, where I will be giving my honest opinion on artist projects, an artist journey, and singles or whatever. And yeah, I'll be giving my honest opinion on whatever. And I'd like to apologize to every other person who basically feels offended by what I'm gonna say on their project or whatever, but I just hope no one takes everything I say personally, because it would be just me solely just being honest, and there's nothing more to it. It's nothing personal, I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? So I mean, that's the whole gist of the story right here. Anyway, let's get down to business. But before we get down to business, I want to remind you of that subscribe button. Please click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so that we can do this again next week, same time, same place, on a Friday. So let's get down to business. Today we are talking about none other artists. We're talking about Amarii, the one and only Swazi prominent artist, who has been previously signed to Swazi Jive, but eventually signed to himself and became independent, and he runs a studio alongside Esco and Live Love Lance called the 808 Cave. Now a lot of people would know about the studio because it is definitely bumping, and it is having a lot of good music coming out of that booth. One day I should pay them a visit and see what they got. Anyway, let's just move right along into talking about Amarii. What I think of Amarii, firstly, is he's come a long way. You know what I mean? To actually go from being signed to a record label to signing to yourself and being independent, especially in Swaziland, it's gotta be the hardest thing ever, because usually when you have that backing from a certain brand or label, it's always seen as a person who maybe has a plan. And when you go independent, usually it's more like now you have to do everything by yourselves. Being independent has its upsides and its downsides. You know what I mean? So, I mean, going through that transition, and while going through that transition, you had to take a break for a whole year. I mean, it has to be probably one of the remarkable journey or stories that I've ever witnessed or heard of. I'm not gonna go deep into detail on what happened, how it happened. I mean, that's none of my business. That's not what we're here for, right? So what I think of Amarii so far is he's came a long way, and to watch someone who's gone through that type of stuff, who's gone through those many things in his life, and to watch him grow like that, it kind of goes on to show you that some of the struggles that you go through prepare you for the greater good that you're gonna have to handle due to the struggles that you've had. So for me, he's definitely come a long way, and I would like to put it out there that I'm a proud fan, if people would like to call me a fan or whatever, but I'm proud, you know what I mean? And to go and stand by your own feet, I mean, you're experiencing the upsides of being independent. Amarii is experiencing all the upsides of being independent. I mean, that also involves doing whatever you want, you know, without having to report nothing to anyone, you know, and I mean, that's basically the greatest thing that an artist could ever go through, because usually when you sign to a label, we all know that you have to report this and that before you do this, and some of those things you will not be allowed to do because it's a brand, and maybe the owner has his own agendas or whatever. We don't know, but whatever happens behind closed doors is none of our business. We just want good music. We all just want to listen to good music, and the music that Amarii has been putting out throughout his whole journey was nothing short of remarkable, nothing below remarkable, nothing below probably one of the greatest tracks that you could ever listen to when an artist is growing. And what I think of Amarii's discography as a whole, before we get into the EP and stuff, I think for me it's just elevation, and to go from that track to this track to this track to this track, you can actually, while you're listening to the music, and I'm not talking about listening through your speakers, listening in your car, I'm talking about having your earphones with you, plugging in your earphones and sitting in your room and really truly listening to someone's music like that, and listening to his whole discography as a whole. You get to realize that it's all elevated as it goes from the oldest to the newest, and it's being elevated to new levels, and that as a listener makes you really anxious on whatever an artist is going to put next, which is, in this case, I'm that listener. And as I've listened to Amarii for quite a while, I've also watched him for quite a while. I've been watching him for a while. I've been listening to his music, following him for a while. You get to see a person grow from being just an ordinary rapper to being an artist, a brand, a person that he can also look at himself and be like, wow, I'm really growing. Wow, I'm a fully fledged, not, I wouldn't say fully, shit, I lost my words. Anyway, but I wouldn't say fully established artist. But you get to realize as an artist now, basically I'm just putting myself in his shoes, you get to realize that you're establishing, you are growing, and he, in as much as he's established in his own way at this point in his journey, I think we can all agree when we can say he's not fully established himself and his music, because I've been listening to his music for quite a while, and I do know that an artist can grow in the matter of space of 5, 6, 7 years. I'm not talking about monetary growth or fan growth or whatever, but I'm talking about the music now. And when you're a really established artist, you go to a point in your music where you have reached your full potential. For me, if I'm being honest right now, I don't really think that Amarii has reached his full potential. I think he has more in store. I think he has more to take from himself as he's making music as he goes as well. And in order for you to take such a long break and make a comeback to release an EP like Throwaways from the Other Side, an EP that truly actually establishes growth, an EP that for me really showed me that he's actually elevating in his own way, he's actually growing in his own way, he's establishing himself in his own way. I'm not now involving the whole Swazi Jive saga. I mean, let's move past that. Basically, I don't even want to get into detail for it, because we don't know anything. As long as we get good music, as long as we listen to good music from our own country, everyone can agree with me when I say we basically tired of going outside the country and listening to other people's music. I think we should just now go back to ourselves and actually just listen and support each other in our country. But anyway, that's a story for another day. At this point, I'd like to get deeper into detail and throwaways from the other side. You know what I mean? It's some throwaways from the other side. That EP for me was a remarkable one. Something that I never really expected, especially from an artist like Amarii. The type of guy you get into a hype when listening to his tracks. I mean, you go back to tracks like Bad Bitches, Gucci Bandana. You go back to those type of tracks, and you don't think all the tracks listed in throwaways from the other side would actually be like all those other tracks. Now, let's go back to my track of growth. You're gonna listen to Gucci Bandana, and then you're gonna go into the EP and probably listen to Roots of All Evil. Now, I'm not a person who likes comparing music, but in this case, we're talking about Amarii's music, so we all knew that it would get at this point. So now you look at both these tracks, Gucci Bandana and Roots of All Evil. You're gonna notice that Gucci Bandana is not at the same level of artistry that Roots of All Evil is. Gucci Bandana is a very good track. I'm not underrating that track. It is one track that I actually even still listen to this day. Yes, it might be listed in the EP, but actually it's not listed in the EP. It's one of the tracks that he re-released again. But which track was listed in the EP? East Side was listed in the EP, but it was also a remake. But you look at Gucci Bandana and Roots of All Evil, you get to notice the elevation or the growth that Amarii represented in both those tracks. They both played a part in growing his music, those tracks. They both played a part in making him come to a point where he's actually still finding his art. I don't think I'm wrong when I'm saying that he's still finding his art. He's still finding what he's really strong at. When I say when I say strong at, I mean his full potential. You know, because I mean there's a certain point where you get to a full potential and you know that this is how I produce music. This is how I make music. This is it. You know what I mean? It may be endless for some artists. It all depends on how an artist thinks. You know, because I mean, each and every song or project that you listen to, you get to get some insights on how an artist thinks, how an artist really sees things in his own way. So basically, when you listen to a project, you get introduced to an artist's world, and in this case, which is throwaways from the other side, I was, and everyone can agree when I say that we were all introduced to Amarii's world, because I mean that's his debut EP. Shout out to him for that. You wouldn't expect that from a debut EP, you know what I mean? So you know that the first shot can be a good shot, but the second shot is going to be better than the first shot. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is the first EP may be very good. It's excellent actually, if I put it in a school word or whatever. But you'd see the first shot as the best shot that he could give, but then the second shot, I'm pretty sure it's going to be better than the first shot. So I really cannot wait to hear what he got next. Because yes, in as much as he probably hasn't reached his full potential, I mean that's all up to him. But for me at this point, I just really cannot wait to see what he has next after this throwaways from the other side EP. It was a really good EP. People would ask me what my favorite track is. I don't usually talk about my favorite tracks. That's because, well, I hardly ever have favorite tracks in an EP. If I really like your EP, just like in this case, I really like throwaways from the other side. In fact, I love throwaways from the other side. In this case, I don't usually give my favorite tracks, but if I put it in words where I could say a song that really appealed to me, a song that really kind of like went deeper into my own self, my soul, was definitely Pictures. You're gonna listen to Pictures and you're gonna notice, dang, okay, you know what I mean. When I went to that track, I repeated that track I think more than 10 times when I listened to that EP for the first time. When I listened to that EP for the first time, I remember very well. I repeated that track Pictures countless times. I think it was even more than 10 times from what I could remember. But that track really appealed to me. That track was a track that actually, wow, yes, it got me emotional. You think about everything that you've been through, you think about everything that you're going through at that moment, and a track really also introduces you really into Amarii's world. And that track really drew me into actually noticing or realizing Amarii's state of mind at that point where he was recording that song, whether when he was writing it down or whatever, but that actually introduced me to Amarii's state of mind, and that was the mark where I could say, wow, okay, he really did it at this point. You know what I mean? So that's the type of music that really also separates musicians or just other rappers to the real artists, to the real OGs. You know what I mean? You can be an artist, I can give you that. You can be a good artist with good potential. Just a quick break there. Just wait. If we've gotten this far in the video, that means you like my content, right? That means you like what I'm saying. That means you're interested in what I'm telling you. Which means you should be clicking that subscribe button. And hit that notification bell that goes, you know what I mean? So we could do this again next week Friday. Don't you like my content? Then click that subscribe button and we can be good. We can have a good journey. More intimate sessions like this. So let's do that. Subscribe and share with your friends. And we are all good. Anyway, let's move on. What I'm trying to say basically in this context is, usually if I cannot listen to your music over a certain number of weeks there and there, and I keep listening to your music even after 3 months after you release your song or project or whatever, if I can't listen to your music up until that certain period of time, if I can listen to it in just 1 week and I'm done, and I will not listen to it after that, I have to be honest, it's not something you can say it's good content that you put out for us to listen to, if I'm being truly honest. But basically in this point, though, is from the other side, I still listen to it till this day. Not only because he's one of our greats, if people would put it like that, but it's also because he put it in a way where I really didn't think he would release something like this. You know what I mean? I didn't think so. I was like, no, man. Went back to Pictures, I listened to it again. This is Amarii. And then I did my rounds on the rest of the EP again and again and again, and I was like, wow, okay, this is something, and it's so funny because this EP really actually made me excited to see what he has next in store. And it made me realize that in as much as an artist can go quiet over a really long time, it doesn't mean that they're not doing anything in the background. Just because we don't see anything, we don't see the story posts, we don't see the posts on Instagram, on Twitter, that yo, I'm working on something, just because we don't see that most of the time doesn't mean that an artist is not putting together some good content for you to listen to, for the listeners, for his fans or whatever. You know what I mean? So it really opened my mind on a lot of things, especially about music, on music, when you listen to music and whatever. But what also had me thinking a lot when I was listening, especially pictures. Wow, I mentioned pictures a lot because I really love pictures. What also gathered my attention when listening to that particular song was, we put out good music. I mean, not including me, but all the other artists that know they put out good music, that really know that they put out music that a lot of people relate to, a lot of people feel their music on a deeper level. I mean, those artists know themselves. They don't get that credit that everyone deserves. No one gets the radio plays. No one gets those where maybe top 50 lists or whatever on the radio as well. But it just goes on to show you how much Swaziland talent is underrated. Now, I'm not talking on a personal note. Yes, we are all underrated at some point or in some way, but it shows how most of the artists who are actually good at what they do, the young artists, it shows that how they are really underrated, whether they like it or not. And it's really sad most of the time when you listen to that type of music and you get to know that, this is gonna end up in the media and that's it, bro. It's gonna end up on the socials. Yes, we're gonna keep listening to it. It's gonna get this and that. It's gonna get that credit. It's gonna get this and that. But that it's not gonna get exactly what it really should be getting, if you know what I mean. We all know that it's not gonna get the love it really deserves, that equals the talent and the art that was put into it. So that really makes you realize a lot of things about our country and how we could play a part in changing that. Anyway, before I go deeper into detail into my opinion on that, let me stick to the basics here. But over and all, just to conclude this, I really am proud of Amarii. If he's watching this, wow, you made it, bro. I really am proud of you. I'm a proud fan. I'm a proud listener. I can't wait to whatever you still gonna put out. And big ups to you, man. And thank you for pictures. It opened my mind. Pictures opened my mind on a lot of things. A lot of your songs have this certain uniqueness to it, and that separates you from any other artist. Because most of the artists that we get in our country always want to sound like Tupac, always want to sound like Kendrick Lamar, always want to sound like Drake, always want to sound like Nasty C, always want to sound like this and that. But what you put out in your art, what the 808 Cave is putting out at this point, wow, it's great, man. All I want to say is keep up the great work, man, and I'll be watching for whatever content you'll be putting out next. We don't know, but we'll see what you got. Anyway, just to wrap this show up, I'm gonna give you guys our track of the week. And our track for this week, our SoundCloud track of the week is Pictures by Amarii. I talked a lot about that track. I think you guys already know why I chose Pictures for our track of the week today on Focus Fridays. I think we all know why. It's opened my mind on a lot of things, and to say the least, basically opened my mind on a lot of things. So make sure you stream Throwaways from the Other Side EP by Amarii. If you haven't, go click that link in his bio at Real Amarii on Instagram, and go to Spotify or iTunes and search for Amarii, because that's the only Amarii there is on those platforms. So best listen to that music, and you best listen to his whole discography, because that really is a discography that signifies true growth. So to wrap this show up, track of the week, Pictures by Amarii. You know the reason why. I'll see you guys next week, same time on Friday, same place on Focus Fridays. This is your boy Steezy. We'll see you guys next week, same time, same place. Click that subscribe button, share with your friends and family, screenshot while you're watching the great vibes, and this is only the start. See you guys next week, same time, same place. It's your boy Steezy. You got it.
Yeah, I find more comfort looking through my baby pictures. Back to a time where I didn't know all these niggas. Got no respect, I just went so cold on these niggas. I can't believe I just wrote a song for these niggas, but they can't get a verse. I'm in need of a hearse. My final talk is looking scared, you should go to a church. The only time he gets the bag is for his mommy's purse. These niggas pressed, now they tweeting back cause I tweeted first. I done dealt with the thickest of thieves. Now he knows he got nothing on me, but I still stand here for what I believe. I'm steady chillin', I know I'm probably living their dreams. Convos with mom, it sorta feels like I'm close to my dreams. Sitting around some billionaires, watch them living the dream. Text from my idol, my life is truly great as it seems. Industry niggas should've really just chased a degree. I'm at the pinnacle, now tell me who's topping the kid. Everything in God's hands, whose timing is this? Who's rhyming like this, bro? Nobody's style is like his. I'm cropping my shit, can't have nothing fake in my pics. I changed the game, I'm a catalyst. That's cause I read they bad intentions like a manuscript, and I just called low about another mix. The next morning I'll be in the church singing hymns. It's funny how they think I'm rich. The industry don't pay out much if you ain't sucking dick. There you have it, dog, I don't play pretend. Y'all niggas rather die inside for racks and relevance.